also known as Sparrow Says on Instagram. Welcome to my first official YouTube video. I've been talking about making this video for so long. This is my third try right now, trying to upload it, and I had to start over and the lighting was bad and I didn't know how. I'm a total rookie. If you're following me on Instagram and followed me here, thank you guys so much for the support. You guys don't understand how much that means to me. And if you have no idea who I am and you love scary shit and you happen to just run into my video, hello, welcome. And I would really appreciate it if you follow me on Instagram as well. I have my cosplay page on there and a bunch of nerdy stuff if you love all that. Well, what is this all about? A few weeks ago, I was posting a lot on my Snapchat talking about my paranormal haunted house. And I decided, you know what, forget it, I'm going to just make a YouTube video about it, explain everything on there, and just get it out of the way. A few weeks back, I was posting up a lot on my Snapchat trying to catch whatever was in my house, and I ended up coming home and recording my open back door of what I'm going to explain all to you. I don't have it saved, unfortunately. I didn't save it, I'm such a dork, but I will explain the whole story. Well, let's start from the night. Okay, one of these nights we were all hanging out and a bunch of friends had came over. One of the friends that had came over, he has always been well known to the board. He has always played the board that I know of. He's mentioned that since he was younger, him and his brothers played with the board, so he was really familiar with it. Me, I just knew all about the movies, the stories, everybody else's stories about when they played the board, but I never had played it myself. But I have always wanted to, but I have always been so scared because I've always had paranormal activity happen to me that I felt like if I played the game, something really bad was going to happen. Well, we were all hanging out, having a good time, and I don't know what got into me to just say, hey guys, we should play the board tonight. Half of the people that were there freaked out, were just like, no way, no one's gonna play this board. And then me and my friend were just like, I'm up for it, let's do it, let's see what happens. You know, we were really excited just because me and him have always talked about playing it, that when we were finally hanging out for like one of the first times, we decided, yeah, let's play this board, and everybody else was just like,
you guys are fucking crazy.
It took us maybe a half an hour just to get my friend to go and pick up the board. I'm going to say his name because I'm pretty sure he doesn't mind. His name is Brian. My other friend, I'm going to name him Miguel. And then there was my husband. It got us like a half an hour just to get him to go pick up the board. As he left to go pick it up, Miguel, my husband, and I were just arguing about why there was such a bad idea and then why it was such a good idea. I was just on the debate. I just want to see if it moves. I want to see what happens. Whatever. Miguel, Brian, and I have always talked about that when we were finally all there at the same place, we were just like, let's just do it. And my husband was just like,
bitch, you're crazy, like why did I marry you?
Well, he comes back and he sets the board on the table, on the kitchen table. And it took us maybe another half an hour to 40 minutes just to get it out of. At this point, like, I really thought we weren't going to play it anymore because everybody was just looking at it in the corner of their eye, talking about other stuff, changing the subject. But everybody was just like, it's just sitting there, you know? Well, my husband says,
well, if we're gonna play it, let's play it outside.
I mean, it doesn't make a difference where you play it, but he felt way more comfortable playing it outside. As my friend went to go pick up the board, I have these good energy crystals. If I find them, I will show you guys, but I don't think I have them. I put them in the corners of my front door and the corners of my back door. I was just like, if it's real, I just want to be safe. I just want to, you know, be okay. Hopefully good spirits come around and try to talk to us, not necessarily demons. So I was just like, leave me alone. I feel better if I just do this. Well, we took out the board and we played it outside. We put it on top of our garbage can. Miguel, my husband, and my friend Brian and I stood around it and, you know, each side. And we all put our fingers on the planchette. That's what it's called, right? I think so. We all put our fingers on there, and we swore right before we played it, we're like, we swear that nobody's going to mess with us, nobody's going to joke around, this is very serious, you know this is serious, half of us are really scared and the other half really believe in this, so let's just be for real and not joke around. So we all vouched for it, we all said, okay, nobody's going to mess around, it's for real. I kid you not, we asked it some questions if anybody was here, or if anybody was around, and sure enough, it moved. My friend had also brought his dog to play with my dog. All of a sudden, when it moved, Abby stopped in her tracks and just started growling at the back corner of my backyard. Our backyard is huge, so if there was something back there, we wouldn't be able to see it. It's pitch black back there. And Abby just stares and just starts growling as soon as the board was moving. Miguel starts like, no, oh my gosh, and I just told him like, hey, relax, it's okay, calm down. Hey, we're good, you know, everything's fine. She probably just saw a little squirrel or an animal running by, you know. But her owner, Brian, was just like looking at me like, holy crap, what was that? So we were outside playing. As soon as we were playing out there, it was also windy. But for some reason, all of us agreed that when this board was moving, everything just stopped around you. It was a weird feeling. Everything, you were just focused on it. You don't feel the wind. I don't know if it's because you're scared or something, but I guarantee I felt the same thing. I didn't feel the wind. I didn't feel anything around me. Well, we continued playing, and it was trying to spell some things out, but no full words. But it just kept going to yes or no, so we asked it yes or no questions. And the feeling of it moving is like something is pulling it at the direction it wants it to go. Sometimes you feel it pulling one direction and then it changes its mind. And some people might say, well, it was probably the people pulling and tugging. It wasn't, because when we were all, our finger barely touched it. As we all put that and it was moving, we all took off our finger one by one and put it back to see what way it was going. And I kid you not, we were barely lightly putting on there. I can swear to you that all of us at one point barely touched it, and it was moving on its own. Well, anyways, it stopped moving so much that we decided we should go inside and play at our table. My kitchen table is, I mean, you know, it's under the light and everything. It was really empty where it's at, so we went back inside and we put it on the table. We began asking it some questions, you know, yes or no questions, names of anything, and it really still wasn't moving. Well, we decided to go back outside to try one more time. If nothing happened, we'll just leave it alone and say goodbye. We go back outside. We put it back on the trash can, and we begin asking it some more questions. And sure enough, it begins to move. Not only that, but Abby begins to growl. We were just so nervous when she would growl, because it was just like we were so into the board and making sure we saw everything that we just felt something was looking at us, and we just never looked up or looked over because we were pretty scared. Her owner, Brian, just began to laugh because he's like, she's never done that before, it's weird, and it's weird that it's happening as soon as we play this. It started getting a little weird, so we just decided to say goodbye and put it away. We go back inside and we're just like, well, that was interesting, you know. The house felt fine, nothing felt weird, I wasn't scared. I'm scared of being at my house, I'm scared of the dark still, like, but for some reason the house felt quiet. Fine quiet, like good quiet. Well, a couple of weeks go by, maybe a couple of days, you know, and that's when I started noticing things. I had 3 dogs at the time, now I only have 2. And Lucy all of a sudden started getting very sick. Maybe coincidence? I don't know. But Lucy was already an older dog, but it felt like all of a sudden everything just started hitting her with all these issues. One day me and my husband decided to go out, and every time we leave we make sure Sparrow is inside. He always finds a way to get out and go wander off. Well, I left him inside. I clearly remember I would never leave him outside if we leave our house. And we come back home and Sparrow is not there to greet us at the door. I was like, I guess I left him outside. I go outside calling him, nothing, he's not there. I was like, where is he? Did I leave him in one of the rooms? I'm looking for him everywhere. At this point, I'm starting to freak out. I ended up grabbing my dog Drax and even wandering around the streets looking for him. An hour, 45 minutes to an hour goes by and I still can't find him. I ended up finding him a couple of streets down, just wandering off. I ended up coming back home, but the thing is like, how did he get out? I don't remember leaving him out. A couple weeks later, another incident happens, and we leave, my husband and I, and we come back home, and Drax, the big dog, is actually inside my house this time. And I stopped in my tracks. Like, I opened the door and I just stopped, and I was like, Drax is in the house. And my husband got scared because he was like, what's going on? And I was like, I don't know. And then we look and the back door is open. I freaked. I was like, oh my goodness, did I leave the door open? Did I leave it unlocked? What happened? I started looking around trying to see if somebody got in and stole some stuff, and nothing. Everything was fine, just the back door was open. And my husband kind of thought it was me, like, leaving the door open. Did you not secure it? Did you not? And I was like, I thought I did, you know. So a few weeks later go by, and I come home again, and Drax is in my house again. The door is wide open. I always make sure my doors are locked when we leave our house, when we go to sleep, when I'm by myself. There's no way I left it open. I told my husband about it, told him how he ended up being inside the house, and he was just like, really? And I was just like, yeah, and don't blame it on me, because I really made sure, like, there's no way I left that door open. So we decided to start securing it really good every time we leave. So one day I had to take Lucy to the vet, and I took her, and you know, everything was going well. Lucy was looking healthier, and I had to leave her there. So as soon as after the vet, I went straight to work. Well, later on that afternoon, my vet calls me back and says that I can come pick up Lucy because, you know, they ended up finishing faster than what they thought. So I went to go pick her up, and her room was in the garage. I opened up the garage and I just sat her down on her bed. She was tired, but for some reason something got into me. I think I forgot my lunch or something, and decided to go inside the house to get my lunch or whatever I came back home for. And I opened the door, and Drax is in my house again. And this is where I recorded it on Snapchat. I was freaking out because he was inside my house. He had destroyed everything at this point, and the back door is wide open. I started freaking out. I was so scared because in my head I had already thought something was going on, something scary. But at this point I'm just like, what the hell? This is the third time in a row something has happened. Besides the situation where Sparrow got out. And let me clarify that when Sparrow got out, the back door was not open. The back door was never open. The front door wasn't open. There was no way for him to get out. So I still to this day don't know how he did. Well, I ended up closing the door and securing it, and I ran out of my house freaking out. I called my husband and told him what had happened, and he's at this point laughing because he knows something is up. And I told him, you know, the door is, you know, open. Drax was inside my house again. I made sure I secured it before we left. And my husband's just like, oh my gosh, okay. And I told him I'm not going back to the house. You know, I'm freaking out. I ended up calling one of my friends as well. He's really into the paranormal. He was not there that night, but he's really huge on paranormal, and he has all these cool things too, cameras and stuff, where he's always wanted to catch something on camera. I mean that he was going to call my husband, and him and his brother were going to set up a camera in my house to try to catch whatever is happening and what's going on, right? Well, they set it up, and one day we decided to go out again. And this is where it gets super creepy. Where the camera was set was only pointing to the back door. It's a sliding door, but there's also like an island that covers like halfway down of the door, but you can still see the door being slide open or being open. We ended up coming home, and before we walked in our house, I was just like, I'm scared of this house. I was telling him that it was such a bad idea to play with this board, and you know, whatever was in there, we were gonna beat it and try to like move on from it. Well, as soon as we're going inside our house, we hear that Sparrow is barking, but from outside the house, from the backyard. I already knew opening that door I was gonna see something weird. We walk in, and the doggy door is off. The doggy door has to come off, but it has to slide off, and there's a clip on it where you have to push to take it off. When we saw that, I asked my friend, hey, did you see, did you catch anything on camera? And he said, no, I wasn't home, or something happened that he just didn't catch it. He wasn't home and he wasn't recording for some reason. The one night that we put up a camera, the one night that something weird happens, it totally played us. It knew. I don't know how to explain it, but I felt like this thing was so smart, and it knew. And if the camera would have catched anything at all anyways, it wouldn't have caught that. Coincidence? I don't know. I don't know how he got out. I can't explain to you how hard my husband has tried training Sparrow to use that doggy door. And to this day, he still won't go through it. I don't know why. He's never gone through it. But all of a sudden, that night where we left and that doggy door is off, he's outside and he used it. At this point, my fear turned into anger. And I flipped out. I ended up making my own holy water. I ended up getting salt, anything I can use to cleanse my house. I got it and I used it to try to get whatever was in my house out. I threw it at every room. I was just telling this thing to get out that didn't belong here, and whatever it was, trying to do to just leave me alone. This whole entire time as well, my body was going through so much stress. Not only whatever was in there just scaring me, but it was driving me nuts, because it would open the door and Drax would get inside and destroy everything. That would get me and my husband into fights because I was telling him get rid of that dog. And if you know me, my dogs are my life. For me to say get rid of him and I'm tired of that dog, I'm sick of it, I'm tired of, it was just something, I don't know why I was feeling this way. It was just so much stress. Well, all of that stuff on, and then fighting, and it was just breaking me down. I was so scared to be in my house. I felt so scared. I felt so terrified every time I was by myself. I always used an excuse to get out of my house. I would go to my mom's, I would go to my sister's. I was just so scared to be alone in my house. And then when I wanted my husband to be home, all we would do was fight, and all we would do is just argue about the situation, and it wasn't making it any better. Well, remember when I told you guys that I put those good energy crystals at the door to stop any bad from coming in? I truly believe that if I hadn't put that there, whatever was out there was going to come inside. That was the closest it could get to me, and it used it wisely. I used it to its advantage. It would open the door and just let Drax in or Sparrow out and just do the rest of the dirty work. I don't know if the good energy crystals helped, but I sure felt like it did. And if you guys have ever felt haunted or have ever played the board and it's gone really wrong, you would understand where I'm coming from. It's a feeling that you just don't know how to get rid of because you're fighting with something that isn't there. You're arguing about something that isn't there. I don't know what else to tell you guys besides don't ever play it. All these people talking about the experiences they had about the board and all the experiences they've had because they played it, or it's true. I can guarantee you that I will never ever play that game again. I will never, screw the curiosity. I don't care about it anymore. It was something very terrifying and I hope nobody or I ever have to go through that again. So that is my story about my crazy Ouija board experience. It's not something that I'm trying to make you guys believe. Hopefully you guys take this and don't play it. I highly recommend you guys play something else. That's my story on that. I'm also going to post more videos about what led up to this. I decided to post this video because it was so fresh on Snapchat that I decided, let's put this one out. Hopefully you enjoyed this and I can't wait to grow with this channel. Thank you for following me here, and if you just ran into my page, thank you for joining, and hopefully you guys like my video and also subscribe. This channel is brand new and I can't wait to just make it grow with all these crazy ideas I have, and hopefully you guys stick around to see them all. Alright guys, well thank you for joining. I'll see you guys later. Bye.